All right, how's everybody doing? Welcome to the Focal Point. Focal Point is coming up on its 50th anniversary next year. Yeah. That's quite an accomplishment when you think about it. You know, we've been doing this, and it's just volunteers, just a bunch of people getting together, having a good time. You know, putting somebody up on stage so that you can enjoy them. And we love it. It's a lot of fun. So I'm going to turn it over now to Rupert. Thank you all.
Thanks so much. Thank you. I want to say a lovely, warm, fuzzy thank you to Jeff and his team for inviting me back again and keeping this place running for 50 years. You must have been a very young man when you opened it, Jeff. And I want to say thank you to you all for being here. Also, spare a thought for all those people that you may have seen queuing up on the sidewalk just now who wanted to join us this evening, but we decided that they just weren't quite good looking enough. So we turned them away. Congratulations, everybody. So I'm feeling the love this evening. And if you're in the mood for a love song, this is the place to be. This is called I'm Amazed by Your Love. I don't need the mountains, and I don't need the trees. I don't need the splendor of the sun that shines on me. And I don't need the treasure buried out at sea. And I don't need the lovely gardens of antiquity. I've traveled far, and all that I've seen left me cold. Twisted and scarred, nothing could move in my soul. But I'm amazed by your love when I gaze in your eyes. I hope it stays with me now and all the days of my life. Dreams claw at me in the night, and they whisper of tragedies not yet come to light. We must hold on to these precious times when I'm here by your side and you are by mine. And out on the road, though you are far from me, everywhere I go, wonder is all that I see. It's better than the mountain, better than the trees. It's better than the splendor of the sun that shines on me. Better than the treasure buried out at sea. It's better than the mighty temples of antiquity. I'm amazed by your love when I gaze in your eyes. I hope it stays with me now and all the days of my life. 'Cause I'm amazed by your love when I gaze in your eyes. I hope it stays with me now and all the days of my life. so much. There's nothing like a lovely audience, and you're nothing like a lovely audience. British humour always gets me into trouble sometimes. Got to be careful what I say. So you may be wondering why I have two guitars up here on the stage. The reason is that Jeff actually booked a duo for you this evening. What I'm going to do is run very quickly between both guitars. No, the real reason is they're in different tunings, and I try to keep tuning on stage to a minimum because there's nothing less interesting than watching a guitar player tune up. Anyway, that's enough about the guitars. Who am I? That's the question. Well, the name is Rupert. Yes, it really is Rupert. One of those names that says, I don't come from Missouri. So I come from London, England, and been based here in America for about 20 years. My main base is New York City. I'll tell you about that later. My second name is Wates. W-A-T-E-S. So it was Gwen that made this joke earlier, but I'm going to repeat it. The whole thing reads, Rupert Waits. Well, what does he wait for? Actually, he waits to return to the Focal Point, one of my favourite venues. This is called Waiting to Begin. When I was a little boy, the world was like a Christmas toy, life a game that I was sure to win, and I'm waiting to begin. Work hard and get ahead, in time all things will come, they said. That was only so much spin, and I'm waiting to begin. I'm waiting to begin. Still waiting to begin. I'm waiting to begin. I'm still waiting to begin. I never crossed the starting line. The race has left me far behind. I'm no longer in my prime. Still the siren voices sing. They're calling from that promised land, stolen from me by some sleight of hand. Life's a shadow of the one that I planned, until I find the real thing. I'm waiting to begin. Still waiting to begin. I'm waiting to begin. I'm still waiting to begin. Days come and go, and all I really know is that I'm slowly getting older. No more time to waste if I'm to join the race. It's already halfway over. Let me do all that I intend. I'm gonna give all I have to spend. The road is rushing towards the end, but I'm waiting to begin. I'm waiting to begin. Still waiting to begin. I'm waiting to begin. I'm still waiting to begin. So much. I told I wasn't going to retune this evening, but I'll have to do a little bit. I know there's at least two very good guitar players in this room this evening, and they know every secret of the book. So this is drop D tuning. I'd like to give you a couple of songs from my most recent, no, not my most recent CD, my 2022 CD. Little quick spiel about my CDs, which are for sale at the back of the room there. Now, not many people buy CDs these days, but my CDs, and I think the CDs of other artists who I know, including Ben Bedford, who you probably know is sitting here in the front row, are more than just a random collection of songs. They are, they have a style and a sound and a theme which binds them together. By the way, I want to give a quick plug to Ben's latest CD. It's a fantastic piece of work. What's the name of it?
Valley of Stars. Stars.
That's right, Valley of the Stars. I've heard it many times, but I didn't look at the cover. Valley of the Stars, fantastic piece of work by Ben Bedford. And it's one of the most coherent pieces of work that I've heard over many, many years. And it's all the songs cohere beautifully. Well, I like to think the same is true of my own CDs. They're more than just a random collection of songs. There's a style and a sound and a story that is being told from song to song, which binds the songs together. So if you download a song here and there on Spotify, two disadvantages. One is you miss the bigger picture, which is the CD from which that song derives, which gives it meaning. Second disadvantage, I don't get any money. So please, please consider buying my CDs. They have nutritional value, because if you buy them, I eat. So please remember that. So I based my 2022 CD For the People on English folk stories. Folk stories, not songs, folk stories. I went back to my own roots in English folklore and researched some stories that I liked. And it was a wonderful cathartic experience for me to write the album, because it was like opening a tap in my own buried memory, if you like, and my ancestral heritage in English folklore. And I came up with the songs in rapid order. Less than a couple of months took me to write the whole album. So England being an island, a lot of the stories that you hear are about the sea. So I'm going to give you a couple of nautical songs now. This one is about a mermaid. Hands up who's seen a mermaid. I knew, right. I knew you would have done that. That was without the aid of narcotics and other stimulants. But if you go to the southwest coast of England, the local people will tell you, if you're a tourist particularly, that you're sure to see a mermaid if you look out to sea at sundown. So try it next time. Mermaids, of course, are half women, half fish, beautiful, rather sexy creatures of the deep. And this particular mermaid is trying to get home to her cave under the sea, but she can't do it because the captain of a ship has anchored with his anchor over the mouth of her cave, and she can't get home to feed her babies. So she's begging him to weigh anchor and leave so she can get home. It may be a fictional story. I like to think it's true, and I based this song upon it. This is called "Oh Captain." Oh Captain, weigh anchor, I pray, for I may not return home till your anchor be raised. If you like my silvery tail, if you like my bright fishy scales, and my hair much lighter than the breeze, let me show you how thankful I can be. Hear my loved ones calling to me from our home deep under the sea. Draw your anchor from the ocean floor, where it lies now blocking my door. Oh Captain, weigh anchor, I pray, I beg you, let me go on my way. My loved ones are hungry in their lonely cave, oh let not their watery home be their grave. My husband below, he is one of your kind, and his voice is sweeter than wine. I tempted him as I lay on the sand, and that same day he gave me his hand. Now each evening you may hear us sing to the moon and her sister the wind. They will send you calm and friendly seas if you'll grant this favor to me. Oh Captain, weigh anchor, I pray, I beg you, let me go on my way. Have pity on this comely maid, for I may not return home till your anchor shall be weighed. So we're going to continue with the maritime theme, the next song. I always loved the sea myself, and this song is based on several old folk stories about the sea. Before we go any further, I feel that I should point out to you the brilliance of my songwriting in this next song, just in case you miss it, because the instrumental sections are my attempt to depict the majesty and terror of a stormy ocean. There's only so much you can do with an acoustic guitar, see if you can hear what I mean. This is called To the Sea. Can you tell me where my true love lies? What's that to me? What's that to me? Did she pass by on her morning ride? Follow the river to the sea. Were there wildflowers in her chestnut hair? What's that to me? What's that to me? It was for my sake she them did wear. Follow the river to the sea. There she waits on the sun-warmed sands, while the waves rise and fall, where the old ruined castle stands, and silence gazes from its walls. There she'll watch as the sailors make land, each with treasures galore. They will show her the pearls in their hands that they have brought from distant shores. And in time to come she'll not grow old. What's that to me? What's that to me? For a rusty coin she'll trade her soul. Follow the river to the sea. Can you tell me where my sweetheart lies? What's that to me? What's that to me? Did she pass by on her morning ride? Follow the river to the sea. Follow the river to the sea. Follow the river to the sea. Could you hear the sea? Okay, let's go back and do one of my oldest songs. Standard tuning. Wrote this song 30 years ago now. Yeah, when I was about 2. Why does he get such a big laugh? It really is one of my oldest songs. And this has been recorded by several other artists, which is very nice for me. So I think there is something to this song. It's really a song of renewal, even resurrection, insofar as I believe in such a thing. And I wrote it in London, England, and as perhaps for that reason it has a background of rain. But it's about the moment when the rain is finally over, after a long period of rain, and we look out of our windows and we see the world just glittering and shaking and trembling with moisture and saying, yes, I'm still as beautiful as ever, for you to come out and enjoy. And we have been through a long period of rain here in America and all over the world in the COVID pandemic, which is not exactly over now, but here we are meeting again as people in one room. Doesn't it feel good to be back? It feels good to me, certainly. So let's congratulate ourselves at having neared the end of the tunnel at least, or seen the light behind the clouds and all those other images. And this is about that particular moment. Renewal, if you like, or even resurrection. So this is called After the Rains. The eagle shakes his feathers dry after the rains are gone, and makes his home the wide blue sky after the rains are gone, and colors waiting to amaze are open to the gentle rays of the day to come. After the rains are gone, and we will walk in clearer lights, and after the rains are gone, and we will see with clearer sights, and after the rains are gone. And when the rain dries on our cheeks to lead us on our mountain peak, then we will hear our vision speak. After the rains are gone, far from the thunder's reach, we'll hear a different song, love calling each to each. And through the mist of joy and pain, the morning bird will sing again, although the night was long. And if no trace of us remains, just say we've walked in love's domain. This will be our song after the rains are gone. Eagle shakes her feathers dry, and after the rains are gone, and makes her home the clear blue sky. After the rains are gone, after the rains are gone. So much. All right. So my main base is New York City, as I mentioned, but my wife and I, we have a little cabin in Colorado, about 2 miles high in the mountains of Colorado, a place called Salida, not Saliva, Salida, as I had to establish. And everything that New York City is, our little cabin in the mountains of Salida is not. It's a wonderful contrast. You can look up at the stars at night and take a deep breath and you won't smell diesel fumes and ganja. Well, you might, but not quite so much. And you can own your own house. Imagine doing that in New York, with a white picket fence and a backyard, and you can park in front of your house and walk home and kiss your wife good evening. It's wonderful stuff that I can't do in New York City, apart from kissing my wife good evening, which I do sometimes. My favourite times of day in Salida, Colorado, quite early in the morning and just at sunset when the sun is rising and sinking behind the mountain in front of our house. Take a deep breath, and it's wonderfully clear and vivid and almost intoxicating. The freshness of the air at that altitude goes straight to my head. Quite an inspiring time of day. And so I decided to write a little love song set at that time of day. And the next time I come through Maplewood, Missouri, I will have a beautiful love song set at sunrise in Maplewood, I promise. But in the meantime, this is set in Colorado. And it's really a love song to an old friend of mine called Rosie. This is called Like Sunrise. I open my eyes and the night has gone, and morning light is here, still pale is the dawn and wet with dew, before the sky is clear. She's with me then, and she fills my eyes and she warms my face like sunrise. I see her again with her deep brown hair and the colorful things she wears. She sings to the birds and makes each one her friend. Then she brings me the songs they share. She's with me then, and she fills my eyes, and she warms my face like sunrise. She's with me then, and she warms my eyes. Then she'll kiss my face like sunrise. She'll kiss my face like sunrise. Thanks, folks. Thanks so much. So that and other love songs can be found on my most recent CD, which is called Elegies, not Allergies, as it was called the other day on the radio. Elegies. Love songs with the theme of separation or absence or even loss. I'm going to give you one more from that album, and this is an up-tempo love song, really. This is called If I Ran to You. To you, would you lead me all the way to your door? And if I called your name, would you feed me all I needed and more? If I loved you as the sea loves the shore? If I lose my way, would you guide me? Would you hold out your hand? When they're hunting me, would you hide me from the law of the land? If I loved you as the sea loves the sun? When the world is burning, when the world is turning me upside down, although you may be far from me, where you are to me shall be my ground, my solid ground. When I open my eyes, will I see you? Would you stand by my side? Will you be here when the water has dried? When the world is burning, when the world is turning me upside down, though you may be far from me, where you are to me shall be my ground, my solid ground. If I ran to you, would you lead me all the way to your door? if I loved you as the sea loves the shore. If I ran to you, would you open your door? So much. This next song is based on a true story. This is one of my most requested songs. Based on a true story. It took place back in 1932 during the days of the Dust Bowl Depression. A good friend of mine called Craig Van Kirk, who's now a travelling singer-songwriter just like me and Ben, is using this song in his set and doing it very well. And it's a real pleasure for me to think that one of my songs has sort of left the nest and is travelling the world, far beyond me. That's a very encouraging thought for any songwriter. Craig Van Kirk is performing this song as part of his regular live set. I think he's coming through Missouri quite soon. Anyway, this particular song is about a poor family who made their way across America on foot during the days of the Dust Bowl. And it's really a hymn of thanks to the strong women of that period, and of all time really, who just kept the show on the road literally. So I want to say thank you to the strong women of America, mothers, daughters, sisters, wives, aunts, nieces, whatever it might be, for just helping us to believe that tomorrow would be better than today. And believe me, I'm sure you will agree that we need more of that right now. So this is based on a true story. Concerns a poor family making their way across America during the Dust Bowl. And this is my song based upon that story. And this is called Days of Mercy. Days of Mercy. Daddy lost his job one day when he wouldn't take a cut in pay. He couldn't find another place, even one that paid him less. So he settled into his easy chair with his dog-eared magazines until the bank took back our house. And my mama only screamed when she was a little girl. She had a dream, she found a pearl hidden in the pocket of her pants, but the pants were full of holes, and when she woke the pearl was gone, and she was only 6 years old. Hold on tight, my mama said, and keep your eyes upon the sun, put your faith in the road ahead. The days of mercy will surely come. When the world is blown apart in the eye of a hurricane, let strength and courage fill your hearts. Days of mercy will come again. So we sold up all we owned, we headed east in a touring car. We found a place with a plot of land down in windy Arkansas. Daddy worked on a lady's farm, but my mama heard it said he didn't work that lady's fields as much as he worked her bed. So she packed a cardboard case with a single change of clothes. I took the baby on her hip, I told us all to follow close, and we began the long walk home to the California coast. Hold on tight, my mama said, keep your eyes upon the sun, put your faith in the road ahead. The days of mercy will surely come. When the world is blown apart in the eye of a hurricane, let strength and courage fill your hearts. Days of mercy will come again. When I fainted in the heat of the Oklahoma sun, our mama led me to a stream and dipped a cloth to bathe my head. We walked all through New Mexico, and in a migrant workers' camp I learned all there was to know about the kindness of the poor. Though the children dressed in rags, they gave us everything they had. Bags of sweets with ready smiles, fresh tortilla around the fire, in the huts of rusty iron. When the baby started crying, hold on tight, my mama said, keep your eyes upon the sun, put your faith in the road ahead. The days of mercy will surely come. When the world is blown apart in the eye of a hurricane, let let strength and courage fill your hearts. Days of mercy will come again. So we finally reached LA. Beside a lake in Lincoln Park, a man was standing all alone, throwing crumbs to feed the ducks. When are you gonna take those children home? Asked the man, and my mama said, we just walked 2,000 miles, we'll make it yet with a little luck. And then the man just looked away. He said he guessed his turn had come. He pulled out $2 bills, enough to see us right, for a can of pork and beans and some shelter for the night. So hold on tight, my mama said, and keep your eyes upon the sun. Put your faith in the road ahead. The days of mercy will surely come. But when the world is blown apart in the eye of a hurricane, let strength and courage fill your hearts. Days of mercy will come again. Hold on tight, my mama said, keep your eyes upon the sun. Put your faith in the road ahead. Days of mercy will surely come. But when the world is blown apart in the eye of a hurricane, let strength and courage fill your hearts. Days of mercy will come again. Hold on tight, my mama said, keep your eyes upon the sun. Put your faith in the road ahead. Days of mercy will surely come. When the world is blown apart in the eye of a hurricane, let strength and courage fill your hearts. Days of mercy will come again. All right. So much. I want to say thank you to John for running the sound this evening. Everybody, John on the sound, yeah. So I thought I'd give you a couple of instrumental tunes right now. What happened was in 2020, during the days of the height of the pandemic, I lost all my live work, about 80% of my income, like every other musician. So I was stuck at home, having to perform online, which is really not the same thing at all, in my opinion. A bit like phone sex, if you know what I mean. If you do know what I mean, you probably wouldn't admit it. So I said to myself, I can do one or two things. I can sit here and feel sorry for myself, or I can try to move forward as a musician. So I decided to sit still and feel sorry for myself. And what I really did was I learned some classical pieces. Classical music being not a closed book to me. I'd always listened to classical music, but I'd never played it, certainly on guitar or any other instrument. So I decided to sit down and learn some well-known classical pieces, my favourite pieces. And I now have an entire repertoire of classical tunes. And once a month, at least, I'll give a classical recital on my Patreon page, which you can join for the very reasonable sum of $5 or $10 a month. You can become a Patreon donor, and I'll give you a recital once a month of my classical pieces, but also other stuff as well. Works in progress. And Ben also has a Patreon page, which is very active. And I firmly believe it's a worthwhile thing to be part of myself. So anyway, my classical repertoire has expanded, and I thought I'd give you a couple of pieces now. This is by J.S. Bach. Jesu, Joy of Man's Desire, as arranged by Leo Kottke, actually. And then I'm going to go straight to one of my own tunes. This is a medley of tunes, so my own piece is the second piece. So it's not a classical piece at all, but it's instrumental anyway, which sort of qualifies. So the Bach piece is called Jesu, Joy of Man's Desire, which I'm sure you will all recognise and know. And my own piece, you probably don't know, is called I'll Never Tire of Looking in Your Eyes. Thanks so much, everybody. You don't often see a man doing his nails, but now's your chance. I know some guitarists who literally have a chiropodist, and I go and see her once a week, and I'm thinking about doing the same thing myself, because you really can't play if you break a nail. So I can't play anymore, sorry, it's all over. No, I can. It's got to attend to a bit of surgery, on stage surgery. Of course, at a really expensive gig, what would happen is I'd just be sitting here and I'd wave my hand and a roadie would run out, you know. But perhaps not. So anyway, let me give you, is it okay if I give you another classical piece with that music? I think it's a kind of a slippery slope because they're all sort of timeless masterpieces, so they're rather hard to follow. So once you open the door, it's a bit difficult to get back. But anyway, I'll give you one of my own favourite pieces. This is Eric Satie, Nocien No. 1, which is really a piano piece, and I arranged it for guitar. You'll probably recognise it. He's a very strange man, but a beautiful composer. Eric Satie, Nocien No. 1. Eric Satie, thanks so much, Luke. I want to give you one more instrumental piece, which was written by Leo Kottke. This is not a classical piece at all. Hands up who knows Leo Kottke is. Yeah. next time you see Leo, will you please call him on the way? He's been ripping off my style for so long. He really mostly plays 12 strings, so I'm going to have to try and make this 6 string sound like a 12 string if I can. This is called The Fisherman, written by Leo Kotke. So much. I'd like to mention, if you want to take some of these pieces home with you, the simplest way to do that is to buy one of the CDs. They're $15 each, $20 for 2, and that's on my instrumental CD. So getting back to some of my own tunes now. Excuse me having to fiddle with my nail. I know it's a bit distracting, but we want nothing but the best for you, and that includes my nails. So this is one of my own tunes. Comes from my album Elegies. And I don't know if you've read the enormous book La Morte d'Arthur, which was the basis of the film and play Camelot in the 1960s, which featured Richard Harris and Vanessa Redgrave, I think. Anyway, in that great book, the two lovers are Lancelot and Guinevere, and they have a very public, illegitimate, adulterous affair, which leads to the downfall of the kingdom of Camelot and the death of King Arthur and civil war and all kinds of disasters. But notwithstanding all that, we root for them throughout the novel much more than anybody else. There's always the naughty characters who gain our attention for some reason or other. Nobody really cares about poor old King Arthur, and he dies, you know, and nobody really cares about it. It's Guinevere that interests us. She's the femme fatale, the archetypal femme fatale. So I'd like to play my song now, which is a version of my take on the final scene, the farewell scene between Guinevere and Lancelot. She's gone off to a nunnery in order to try to purge her soul of its sinful past. And Lancelot shows up there one last time to try to persuade her to come away with him to his castle in Brittany, but of course he fails. So this is called Guinevere. Guinevere, do you hear? At the door there is one who waits for you. And his eyes tell a tale full of pain, terrible to see. Guinevere, it is I, never fear, I have come to take you home. It is time, lady mine, to put away your tears. Although all we have loved and all we have known has burned in a funeral bier. Guinevere, we have won, for the sun is still lovely and we are here. tempt me not with fine words. Through your pride are kings and kingdoms all now fallen. Let me be, I beg of thee, say of me that I was to blame. Come not again. Weenieville, well I own, I alone was the one who made you sin. And 'twas I, even I, who would die to save your name. Guinevere, you are pale, and the veil that you wear becomes you ill. I would fain see thee again, with your cheeks aflame. Then bring your 5 ladies, sing with your ladies, robe thee in Lincoln green. Guinevere, take my hand, come with me to Brittany, and be my queen. Urge me not to break my sacred vow. Please go thou now and live in joy with some fair maiden. Lady dear, never fear, he is gone, the one who was here. Then why, tell me why, are your eyes yet full of tears, Guinevere? Thanks, folks. Alrighty. I'd like to mention my good friend Ben Bedford, who's here this evening. It's a great honour for me to be playing for Ben, one of the finest singer-songwriters of his generation, or any generation, in my opinion. Do you know his work? Your hands up in the room who knows Ben's work. Well, if you don't know it, check it out, please. benbedford.com. That's the right website, isn't it? benbedford.com. Fantastic singer-songwriter. He's played here too, of course. About 18 months ago, I think, wasn't it? Last time? Yeah. With Vanessa. Yeah. Right. The album whose name I forgot, but I recommended. Yes, right. No, right. Valley of Stars, yeah. Right, the new album, right. Okay. Anyway, Ben Bedford, everybody. So I'm going to have to do some retuning before we play the next couple of songs. And I'll tell you a bit of backstory to cover my tuning. I'm tuning the guitar in Dadgad, which is a relatively new tuning for me. And I've been drawn to it because I've decided that time has come for me to write an album for my son, Gabriel. And so it seemed appropriate to use a tuning that begins with the word Dad. Dadgad. Right. Mum, Dad. So Gabriel, I'll tell you a little bit about him. Born March 2020, New York City. Just about the worst time and place you could pick to be born. We were in the middle of the pandemic. It had just come down, hit New York City, and 1 week later it would have been too late for me to show up at the hospital, because by that time they were turning away all but the mothers from the maternity ward. So he was born March 2020, and he's now 4 years old, and he loves to play and sing. Particularly early in the morning. He likes to get up at about 4, which is great for me because I usually get home at around 4. And the neighbours particularly are great fans of his music. So I'd like to give you some songs for the new album that I'm just writing at the moment. You have every excuse not to possess it because it doesn't exist as yet, but I'm going to be recording it, I hope next year, early next year, in Nashville with a good friend of ours, Dave Sinker. It's all songs for Gabriel, and the album's going to be called Father to the Man. That comes from a quote by William Wordsworth. The actual quote is Father of the Man, the child is Father of the Man, but I've changed it a little bit, Father to the Man. The idea being that, in my mind anyway, that our children can reawaken us to the wonder of life when we have become a little jaded perhaps. And so in that sense, they parent us. They become our parents, and they teach us many things, as I'm sure you'll agree if you have kids. So anyway, this is a little love song for Gabriel. This is called Like a Songbird in the Spring. Hey, sleepy eyes, where have you been? On magic pillows soaring up and away. And did you rise, shake off your dream with all the sadness of a cold winter's day? And like a songbird in the spring, try your voice and let it ring. The time will come to spread your wings and fly in the sunlight and the rain, sometimes with joy, sometimes in pain. I know your heart and in your head so many questions there's no answer to. Put on your shoes of blue and red, and in the morning light I'll dance with you. Like a songbird in the dawn, you'll awake the world and blow your horn. So find the song that you were born to play in the sunlight and the rain, sometimes with joy, sometimes in pain. Like a songbird in the spring, open your loving heart and sing. The time will come to spread your wings and fly. You will fly. You'll fly. You will through it. So I'm away from home a lot. I'm a wayfaring man, if you like. And this song is written in the form of a folk ballad about a wayfaring man, but it's told from the point of view of the woman he left behind, if you like. So in a figurative sense, it's about me and my life, but only figuratively so. This is called Song of the Wayfarer. Your father was a wayfaring man, and his name is written in sand, where the wind blows and the wave sings. He'll go journeying with a king's ransom on his head, and only the moonlight to share his bed. Many have offered to be his guide, many would join his midnight ride, but he carried beside his heart a locket of gold, with a portrait of you inside, so I'm told. Some say the soldiers had his hide, some say the sea is now his bride, but his eyes would win a queen. They were the warmest I've ever seen. And he told me that son of mine wouldn't grow up to be the brother to the wind and as free. Your father was a wayfaring man, and his name is written in the sand. Where the wind blows and the wave sings, he will go a journeying. He'll go a journeying. All right. Who said it? So these are all new songs, you know, and I'm trying them out for the first time, almost for the first time, in front of people. It can be a scary situation, but you seem like such nice people that I'm going to get away with it. So I'll tell you a longer story about my son Gabriel. July the 4th of last year, these are all songs for Gabriel, by the way, as I mentioned. July the 4th of last year, we were at our little place in Salida, Colorado. At that time of the year, the Arkansas River, which flows right through our village, a town rather, about 100 yards from our house, it's very high, very white, very fast at that time of year. And quite dangerous. So anyway, it was July the 4th, it was a hot day, the town was full of people. I said to my wife, Stacey, let me relieve you of your duties for a while and I'll take Gabriel for a walk. So I took him for a walk. She said to me as we were leaving, don't let go of his hand. So I said, yeah, of course I wouldn't let go of his hand. Off we went, and he was taking pictures with his little camera. We went down to the river, we're walking along the river. I let go of his hand. He fell in the river. He was 3 years old at the time, couldn't swim, a stroke. So this water was deep, fast, cold. I went in after him. What else was I going to do? And I don't really remember much about what happened next. It was a kind of big shock, as you can imagine. But I must have kept his head above water because it was later determined by the paramedics that there was no water in his lung. So I must have managed to keep his head above water. But that current was fierce, man. It was there was no fight in the current. We were carried downstream about 100 yards in a matter of seconds. It was spinning us around. I had only one arm to fight the water, and I couldn't fight it anyway. The other arm to hold Gabriel, who weighs, I don't know what, he's not a tiny chap, he's fairly heavy, you know. And so our situation was pretty dire. But I had no time to feel scared, I was just too much in shock. Luckily, being July the 4th, there are a lot of people out and about, including a lot of men along the riverbank, who clearly knew the ways of the river and they knew what to do. They waded into the river, right up to their necks in this freezing water, formed a human chain, and just blocked our passage, grabbed our arms and hauled us out onto the riverbank. And there we sat, shivering like seals. Gabriel was blue and trembling and crying with cold. And he kept saying, where's my hat? Well, he hadn't been wearing a hat, as it turned out. But that was his way, clearly, of dealing with the trauma of what he'd just been through. Well, the paramedics arrived very quickly, and they determined, as I said, there was no water in his lungs, so he hadn't been underwater, which was very lucky. And those men saved our lives, or they certainly saved his life. There's no doubt of that. I hope they realised just how grateful we were. Anyway, I went home, and let me tell you, I was not as scared of that river as I was of having to tell my wife that I let go of his hand. So it's been a kind of traumatic memory ever since. So this song is based on a kind of dream about the water. And in the dream, water is what keeps us apart, but it also is what can bring us together. Just like language, because language also is something that can keep us apart by misunderstanding, or it can draw us together. This is called Deep Water. Deep water, as wide as the sea, deep water, between you and me, tide rising, as high as can be. You're calling to me, and I hold out my hands, the words that you say, I can't understand, you're carried to sea, and I'm here on dry land. I stood here before, while the sun gently warms my face. I stood here before, but our feet in the sand, but I ran from the water's embrace. You're lifting me now, I'm touching the sky, I'm riding the waves, as blue as your eyes, you're calling to me, over the deep water. I wait on the shore while the sun gently warms my face. I stood here before with my feet in the sand, but I ran from the water's embrace. You're lifting me now, and I'm touching the sky, I'm riding the waves, as blue as your eyes, you're waiting for me, over the deep, deep water. All right. I'll give you one more song from the new album. So I'm taking Gabriel to the fair, if you like, and the fair is a fascinating place, but it's also a scary place, kind of like life itself. This is called The Fair. See the people, all the people come from everywhere. In the sunlight and the music, everyone is there. Take my hand and we'll go to the fair. There'll be rovers, traveling traders, lighting up their wares. There'll be soldiers, there'll be satyrs, even dancing bears. Take my hand and we'll go to the fair. See the girl with laughing eyes and jewels in her hair. For a price she'll be your bride, then vanish in thin air. Your love to watch the lions and the tigers prowling in their lairs. Swordsmen dueling, preachers ranting, while we stand and stare. Take my hand and we'll go to the fair. See a girl with laughing eyes and flowers in her hair. For the day she'll be your bride, then vanish in thin air. You'll let the majestic sailors, fortune teller, answer all your prayers. You may find them buried treasure if you only dare. Take my hand and we'll go to the fair. Take my hand and we'll go to the fair. Take my hand as we move through the fair. Appreciate it. Yeah, it's the first time I've ever played a lot of these songs live, so it's like breaking their virginity, rather. Thanks for being here at the baptism. So I've had a lot of songs based on true stories. This particular one is based on a true story. August of 1914 in England, on the eve of the First World War, there's a pub just north of London called the Bricklayer's Arms. If you go to this pub, you'll look up at the ceiling and see some nail holes and some silver coins nailed to the beams of the pub. So ask the landlord, what are those silver coins and those nail holes doing in the ceiling? And he'll tell you the story, which is that in August of 1914, all the young men of that village who just enlisted in the army wearing their new uniforms, which they were all so proud, went down to the pub for one last farewell drink with their wives, sweethearts, family members, whoever it might be. Each man produced from his pocket a florin, which was an English coin worth about 10 pennies, quite a lot of money in those days. They said, here's a florin, we're going to nail this to the beam, and when we come home from the war at Christmas, because of course this war will be over by Christmas, all wars are over at Christmas, we'll buy drinks for the house. And that's what they did. So 110 years later, you look up and see the nail holes there, you'll understand that they represent all the young men who did indeed come home from the war to reclaim their florin, which had been nailed to the ceiling. 25 silver florins still waiting for their young men. They never did come back from the fields of Flanders. That's their war memorial, those silver coins nailed to the ceiling. I thought that was a great story, so I decided to write a song based upon it. If there are any veterans in the room, men and women who have served or are serving or will serve, this is for you. This is called a florin to the beam, and a florin is an English coin, or was an English coin, worth about 10 pennies. A florin to the beam. Drink up and dry your eyes, nail a florin to the beam of the old bricklayer's arms and leave it there for all to see. Drink up and dry your eyes, and on the day when I come home, it will buy a high old time for you and me. Promise me that you'll remember me in every letter that you send to me. This war will never make an end of me, as long as you are still a friend to me. Drink up and dry your eyes, nail a florin to the beam of the old bricklayer's arms and leave it there for all to see. Drink up and dry your eyes, and on the day when I come home, it will buy a high old time for you and me. If I never see your eyes again, that coin will be the one you never spend. No black ring notice in the Times for me. One silver penny will do fine for me. Drink up and dry your eyes, and nail a florin to the beam of the old bricklayer's arms and leave it there for all to see. Drink up and dry your eyes, and on the day when I come home, it will buy a high old time for you and me. We'll have a high old time, wait and see. Thanks so much. I'd like to give you another love song, if that's okay with you guys. My wife and I met in Paris some years ago, about 20 years ago now. We took our son Gabriel back to Paris for Christmas a couple of years ago to introduce him to our favourite haunts and the places where we met. And my wife loves to dance, and we visited a few dance halls. Actually, Gabriel loves to dance too. They both do. So this is dedicated to our little trip to Paris. I knew that I had to write a song about that trip, because if I didn't, my wife would kill me. So this is the song that I wrote. She loves to dance. This is kind of a love song to Paris. Paris, France, by the way, not Paris, Illinois. Right, the other Paris. This is called We'll Go Dancing. We'll go dancing through the night by the ancient city lights. Meet me where the river bends, and we will hear the bells again. Knock twice on the secret door. Take me dancing across the floor. Dress the heels of your shoes with flowers from the avenues. And though we have changed the rules of the game, the little remains of the people we were. On the streets of cobblestone, we'll greet the faces we have known. Like the colors of spring, like a gypsy guitar, they will always be part of who we are. See the cafe on the square, see me waiting for you there, see your lovely chestnut hair. Though we have changed the rules of the game, a little remains of the people we were. What we've lost has made us strong, and for our friends who now are gone, we will sing familiar songs. And by the ancient city lights, we'll go dancing through the night. And that's the question I often ask myself is when I look back on my life and the time comes, will I feel that I did the right thing or did I do the wrong thing? So often we do the wrong thing. Was I justified? That's the question. So this is called Justified. Take me home, take me now, from the place where I hid. Take me home, only let me know if I was justified in what I did. Free my hand, my soul, and you will see me rise and fly. Take me home, only let me know, was I justified in your eyes? That I was so much younger then, and I was blinded by pride, and I flew too near the sun again. Was it justified when so many cried? Lay me down and lay me low. Take me now, my time has come. Take me home, only let me know. Was I justified in what I've done? Take me home, take me now, from the place where I hid. Take me home, only let me know. Was I justified in what I did? Was I justified in what I did? Was I justified in what I did? Wow, time has flown by. It's been a great pleasure to play for you this evening, everybody. I want to say thank you again to John for running the sound. Thanks, everybody. Thank you. Warm thank you to Jeff for hosting us this evening. Please come back to Focal Point and other live venues. We need your help now more than ever before. Musicians are struggling to make ends meet. We all are, of course, but our costs have doubled and audiences have been culled by COVID, so we're fighting those two different indices, and we need your help now more than ever. So if you think that music is a good thing and should be preserved for our children and their children, come out to a live show, and you don't have to spend lots of money to enjoy, I hope, a decent quality of music, as I hope you have done this evening. Also, please check out Ben Bedford's work if you don't know it already, benbedford.com. Fantastic singer-songwriter. And thank you again, Jeff. Let's give a round of applause to Jeff, please, everybody. So here's a song which I wrote some years ago for some friends of mine who were going through a hard time. That's a song called Prayer. So let's take a moment and think about people we know and love who may be in need of a prayer tonight. There's always too many of them, starting in Gaza, to name just one place. This is called Prayer. It goes out for everybody tonight when they don't have a prayer. Here's to you, and here's to me, here's to all we've ever seen, to all to come and all that's been. Here's to all we ever shared, to our fathers and to our heirs, to all people everywhere, when they haven't got a prayer. Here's to the young and here's to the old, to the body and to the soul, to all whose stories are still untold. Here's to the lightness and here's to the weight, to the gay and to the straight, to all who die too soon or were born too late. Here's to our enemies and here's to our friends, to the river that never ends. Here's to the sinners and to the born again. Here's to the black and here's to the white, to the left and to the right. Here's to the evening and here's to the morning light, coming into sight. To the rich and to the poor, Here's to the sea, and here's to the shore. Here's to all people everywhere. When they haven't got a prayer, 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 when they haven't got a prayer. Here's to the cop, and here's to the priest, and to the west and to the east. Here's to all they bring, and to the feast. Here's to the lion, and here's to the lamb. Here's to the beast and the heart of man. Here's to the house on rock and the house on sand. Here's to the heart and to the head, to the living and to the dead. Here's to the joy and to the tears we've shed. Here's to the first and here's to the last, to the future and to the past. Here's to all who've ever raised their glass. Anytime we ask. To the moon and to the sun, to all we've lost and all we've won. Here's to all people everywhere. When you haven't got a prayer, 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 when you haven't got a prayer. John running the sound. Thanks so much. Very kind. Well, you're very kind. You're such a lovely audience. We'd love to take you home with us. We'd love to take you home. That's a quote from the Beatles. Well, I'll give you one more. You've been very kind, everybody, and thanks for allowing me to try out some new stuff and make a terrible mess of it. But who cares, man? So please be safe on the road going home, and don't forget about COVID and all the other nasty things that are lying in wait for us. If you want to check out my Facebook page, please do so. My music page is rupertwatesmusic.com. I come through Missouri quite a lot. I'll be in Missouri again next week. I'll be in St. Louis next week. On Jake's Joint on Friday of next week. Special gig there with Tim Rakel, who's playing an opening set. And I come through Missouri at least once or twice every year, so I'd like to play for you again. So here's hoping that we will meet again further down the road. And this is called Further Down the Road. When thorny darkness comes to chew my bones, and when I stumble on the rocks and stones, and I see a fire ahead that guides me home, further down the road. And as I walk towards the blaze of light that calls me like a siren day and night, it's always at the very edge of sight, and further down the road, further down the road, gleams the promise of the happiness we're owed. Further down the road, love surely waits there where the fire still glows. When time has closed on all we've done and said, when all that's left of me is dust instead, think only that I'd gone somewhere ahead, further down the road, further down the road, gleams the promise of the happiness we're owed. Further down the road, love surely waits there where the fire still glows. When thorny darkness comes to chew your bones, and when you're lost and scared and all alone, I'll light a fire ahead to guide you home. Further down the road, a little further down. Well, thanks everybody for being here, and it's been a great pleasure to play for you. Have a great night. See you all again soon. Thank you. Good night. Thank you.